It was the Genesis reply to Alan. Oh, Genesis replied to them about it. Like the actual Genesis? Oof. The Techport Center, aka the venue website, had an event page for Smash World Tour as recently as November 27th. It's been removed sometime since. And then here's the cache. Yeah, so this is yikes. So it's just wrong then. Like his claim is just wrong. Yeah, that was just unequivocally false. Which is a very bad thing. That's a huge lie to make. To claim that they may not have ever had intentions of fully running it. So no way. Wait, is this from one of the TOs of Genesis? Holy shit, this is actually from a TO of Genesis giving a character witness statement on Alan. This is, as I've just learned, Genesis is like an official licensed partner with Nintendo, or at least has been. Got some shit to say, not going into detail, but from the very first moment Alan opened his mouth to the last time we spoke, nothing but snake-like sounds could be heard, like that shit in Harry Potter. Parcel tongue, my man, it's called parcel tongue. That's aggressive. Again, this is all hearsay, but I think it's important to note, every TO so far has only had negative things to say about their interaction with Alan. There has not been a TO to come forward as like a positive character witness for Alan yet. Now, maybe that's because the public pendulum has swung against him and they might be a little fearful. That's very possible. But the sheer amount of very similar stories that these TOs are sharing about him is a little absurd. Like the volume. Like it seems like that'd be a hard thing for all of them to come together on as like a fuck this guy kind of thing. One thing for sure that was constantly reiterated in our calls was that Smash World Tour would be canceled, that Smash World Tour would be blacklisted, and that Gimmer was blacklisted, and it was only a matter of time before they were shut down because, trust me, I know. Trust me was a term he used a lot. He at one point called himself the savior of Smash on a call. This is a lot. Again, this is more just like hearsay. There's no evidence, but this is like the 9th or 10th TO to share very similar experiences. In one call, it was confirmed that he was to be the licensed broker for the whole scene. This has the potential to be really, really bad for everyone. That means eventually, if he wanted to, you would have to be part of the Panda Cup to get a license, one person having the keys. If that's true, that is a massive problem. Obviously for the reason he points out, but also if he just doesn't like you, he never has to grant you that license, and thus if the time of unlicensed events is truly behind us, like Nintendo said in their call with Smash World Tour, if all of that's true, then that means you would not be able to run events without Alan's blessing as the license broker. Assuming, of course, this is all very, like, on-the-nose accurate shit. I can go on and on, but generally most of the shit he's saying in that 31-page garbage tweet is a lie. It's riddled with manipulative ways of speaking, and it's just more of what I expect of a guy who thinks he's the fucking savior of Smash. This is, I guess, an important perspective because he is the TO of a very big event that is also licensed by Nintendo and was not even mentioned in Alan's tweet, or in Alan's statement. Thus, he was not put on the defensive. He didn't need to say anything. He wasn't forced to say anything. He's doing this because he felt so strongly about it with his own interaction. He had absolutely no stake in this other than just wanting to come out here and give his take on how he feels about it based on how he's talked with Alan. So this, I think, is a pretty big one. He's not the only TO for Genesis. It doesn't matter if he's the only TO for Genesis, though. He is a TO that has personal experience with Alan, apparently. And being a TO of Genesis is a big deal because he was not named in this at all. Like, that's still an important perspective. I don't know why you're writing it off. TO is tournament organizer. Bobak is an OG. I believe him with my life. Yeah, a lot of people in chat were saying Bobak has a lot of goodwill in the community and has been a really, like, powerful TO for a long time in terms of, like, the good he's done for the scene. So, this is a statement that does have quite a bit of weight to it. Here's the other main TO for Genesis statement. Damn, everyone's coming forward with statements now. I mean, this was a bombshell from Alan. Even though there was no evidence, it was still a very huge thing for the community. Here, let's pull this one up. So this is another Genesis TO, again, not named in Alan's document whatsoever. They had no horse in this. I want to see what he says. So Crimson Blur is standing up for Kin as a character witness for how they've worked together. To add on to this, I'd like to cite a situation that happened between Genesis and BTS that Kin could have completely thrashed this over privately and publicly, but didn't really even get mad or remotely raise his voice. So this is them defending Kin in what was a very aggressive stance from Alan against Kin. So this isn't him so much talking about Alan here, it's more just defending Kin, which pokes holes in Alan's interpretation of Kin, posting him as some kind of like boogeyman in the scene. Why is there always so much drama in the Smash community? Isn't it crazy? It's so fucking sad too, because it's all so easily avoidable. It all could have just been so simple. Didn't have to get messy at all. Don't even know what Genesis is besides Alan angered them. Well, Alan didn't anger them though. Like, Alan didn't even mention Genesis. And Genesis is huge. You don't know Genesis? Like, even outside of Smash, Genesis is just fucking massive. For fighting games. I guess if you're not in the FGC, you won't care. But with their interaction, they just felt so strongly that they wanted to come forward to talk about it. They didn't have to say anything. Like, Alan didn't mention them, didn't throw any kind of shade or shit, take a stinky little dump on him or anything. They just felt so strongly about him being untruthful in his statement that they wanted to publicize it. He did? Where? When did he mention Genesis? Other than when they didn't sign. Oh, this is like when he was talking about their positive interactions. Yeah, it wasn't anything negative about Genesis. And then they mentioned him for a licensed event without being part of Panda Cup. See? Oh, that was your point. He made them hate them so much that they came out against him, even with Alan being nice in his statement to them. That is a good point, I suppose, yeah. Alan used them as an example of a positive interaction, yet Genesis did not have a positive interaction with him. That's not how they viewed it. That is a fair point.